They called him the Manassa Mauler, the first true superstar of boxing's golden age. A heavyweight champion so ferocious that his name would echo through time. This is the story of Jack Dempsey. 1895, Manassa, Colorado. Jack is born, home to a Mormon family of 11 children, where hunger was a familiar guest. A son of wanderers. His father chased schemes that never paid off. His mother held the family together, while Jack's father dragged them from town to town, always chasing that next promise of a fortune. But steady work was nowhere to be found. So with the family struggling to be fed, young Jack quit school and joined his brothers underground, clawing out a living in the mines. Now Jack's education came not from books, but from fists. His older brother Bernie showed him how to fight, how to turn hunger into power. But Jack wasn't meant to be buried underground. He was meant to roam. And when he struck out on his own, he became a ghost. A hobo riding the rails. Some rode on top of trains. Jack Dempsey clung to the undercarriage, ropes around his wrists just to stay alive. Work was hard to come by, and real money harder. But one day, Jack stumbled into a saloon and discovered that his talent for fighting under the name Kid Blackie could earn him a spare few bucks. Bare knuckles, no rules, no mercy. He said, "I can't sing, I can't dance, but I can lick any man in the house." And most nights he didn't just win, he knocked them cold. This was where the Manassa Mauler was born, but backroom brawls and freight trains couldn't feed him forever. Soon, Dempsey would step into the professional ring, and America would never forget his name. 1914, a brutal world for Dempsey to turn professional in. And as his own promoter, his career was anything but smooth. He fought everywhere. Dusty mining towns, carnival shows, smoky arenas. Fights came fast, and the money was often just as dirty as the rings. Jack Dempsey knew where fortunes were made. New York City, a concrete jungle that promised fame but swallowed the weak. But fights were scarce, money scarcer, and even survival was a contest. At night, Jack worked on the door of a brothel. It was here that he met his first wife, Maxine. But love couldn't keep the cold away. When work ran out, Dempsey spent his nights on park benches, his dreams shadowed by hunger. But soon, the world would know just how dangerous a hungry Jack Dempsey could be. Professionally, by the end of 1918, he had 25 wins, 1 loss, 5 draws. In those days, he was just another fighter, scraping by, sleeping in railroad yards, living hand to mouth. Then came the man who would change everything, Doc Kearns, a manager who saw not just a fighter, but a star. Kearns transformed Dempsey's career. More fights, better paydays, and a new style, brutal, relentless pressure. No longer just a brawler, Dempsey became a savage technician. Head movement like a snake, hooks like sledgehammers. And that fury soon would collide with a giant. 1919, the chance to become a great. The obstacle, Jess Willard, the heavyweight champion, an absolute giant by the day's standards, 6'6" when most heavyweights barely reached 6 feet. Jack stood at 6'1". The Manassa Mauler went to work. Ferocious, relentless, every punch thrown with bad intentions. weaving in, weaving out, slipping past Willard's massive reach. Dempsey found angles, turned openings into chaos. In 3 brutal minutes, everything changed. 7 thunderous knockdowns. A towering champion shattered. And in that carnage, a legend was born. Jack Dempsey embraced fame with open arms. A superstar overnight. Glamorous parties, Hollywood stars, the world at his feet. But fame is a double-edged sword. Lavish spending, high-profile relationships, constantly in the public eye. His wealth led to bitter disputes with his manager, Jack "Doc" Kearns. Lawsuits, broken trust, and then the press, relentless, questioning his character. Accusations of draft dodging during World War I cast a shadow over his reputation. Dempsey, the hero, forced to defend himself in the court of public opinion. But beneath the glamour, beneath the headlines, Dempsey never lost his fighter's heart. But for Jack Dempsey, the true test of a champion was still to come. Luis Firpo, the wild bull of the Pampas. A brutal powerhouse from Argentina. A man who shattered opponents with raw, savage strength. And now that fury would collide with the Manassa Mauler. First round was chaos. From the opening bell, Dempsey did what he always did. He attacked. Swarming Firpo with a storm of punches, never giving the challenger a chance to set his feet. Firpo's style was crude but powerful, wide, looping punches that could end a fight with one clean shot. But against Dempsey's relentless pressure, Firpo struggled to keep his balance. Then, Firpo landed a wild, desperate punch. Dempsey was thrown from the ring, an almost surreal moment. But his instincts took over. Scrambling back, helped by reporters, he was back in the fight in seconds. Dempsey closed the distance, smothered Firpo, refusing to give the Argentinian the space to throw those wild bombs. It wasn't just Dempsey's power that won this fight. It was his ability to fight under pressure, to adapt in chaos. Firpo was done. A test of raw strength and willpower ended with Dempsey's hand raised. Jack Dempsey wasn't just a brawler, he was a survivor. But his final test would come in the form of an ultimate survivor, or a war hero, Gene Tunney. Unlike the wild brawlers Dempsey had destroyed, Tunney was a strategist, a boxer who fought with his mind as much as his fists. In their first fight, Jack couldn't get to or figure out Tunney. But they had a rematch. Could Jack bring out the Manassa Mauler to tear the genius apart? 104,000 fans gathered to see a desperate Jack reclaim his crown. Dempsey was relentless, stalking, swinging with explosive power. But Tunney refused to be drawn into a slugfest. But then came the 7th round, a moment that would become legend. Tunney went down, the first time in his career. No tactician could evade the sheer, ferocious power of the Mauler. But Dempsey made a fatal mistake, forgetting the new rule. He had to go to a neutral corner. The long count, a moment where seconds stretched and survival became a question of time. Debated for a century, rounds, Tunney's hand raised, the Manassa Mauler defeated. When the dust settled, Jack Dempsey stood no longer as a champion, but certainly as a legend. Dempsey never fought for the title again, but he didn't fade away. He became a beloved figure, running a successful restaurant in New York City. A place where fans lined up just to shake the hand of the Manassa Mauler. The fight never truly left him. Even in retirement, he laced up his gloves for exhibitions, raising money for charity, always ready to teach young fighters the craft. Jack Dempsey was more than a fighter. He was a force, raw, relentless, and unforgettable. From riding the rails as a hungry drifter to reigning as the world's most feared champion. But behind the ferocity was a man who never forgot where he came from, who shook hands, signed autographs, and stood as a symbol of grit and survival. Jack Dempsey wasn't just a champion, he was an American icon, the Manassa Mauler, a legend who refused to stay down.